Okay, so this is going to be a real quick tour of my game room as it's set up right now. Nothing too fancy, but I've got a few things in there I think maybe people would like to see, so follow me. So of course at first we're greeted with a couple of posters, Batman, Wonder Woman. That is kind of a recurring theme in my house. I might make a video on those later. But anyway, as you go inside, first of all, you have my arcade machine that currently at the moment is running WWF WrestleFest. Although it is a WWF Superstars machine, well, actually it was originally a Joust machine, but it was converted before I bought it into a WWF Superstars machine, and I believe it's been that way for quite some time. And I do have the Superstars board in there as well, but at the moment I do have the WrestleFest running on it, because I actually do have a video of Superstars running on it already on the channel. So but anyway, so I've got that running with the WrestleFest, and now with the arcade one thing I did want to do with that is try to keep it as I don't know. Well, basically, what I wanted to do was just try to buy the boards and then swap them out when I wanted to play them. So, one thing I did was, if you see it running in here, it's probably an original board. And although that is a little bit expensive, because some of these boards are really expensive. Like for example, I think the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Konami 1989 arcade game was the one I paid the most for. I don't even remember what I paid for it at the time, but I want to say it was upwards of $300 and something. But you know, for me, it was worth it because there was a handful of them that I absolutely had to have. That was one of them. But anyway, so I got it with Superstars already installed. One thing around here, these machines are harder to find. I know I've heard of plenty of stories of people going out and getting the machines, you know, for cheap, for $100, or somebody wants to get rid of it. Don't have a lot of that around here in my town, unfortunately. So I did have to purchase this on eBay, and sometimes that can get a little pricey. The machine itself was not bad. I think it was like $400. The shipping, that was a different story altogether. So that's where the majority of it came in. I actually paid more for shipping than I did the machine. But you know, what are you gonna do? I really wanted it, and I knew if I wanted to get one, I wanted it to be my favorite game, which is WWF Superstars. That's my favorite arcade game. So, and I knew I could buy other boards and swap them out and play different, you know, games on it. Now, when I did get the machine, it did only have, and let me turn the light on here. When I purchased the machine, it only came with 2 buttons. It had a spot for a third one here, but they were dummy buttons, just like this one is. So what I had to do on that was actually had to swap it out and purchase some extra buttons and hook those up through the harness, and it was a little bit of a job, but it was worth it because now I've got 3 buttons on here, and that's a lot more handy. Depending on, it gives you, you know, opens up your range of games that you can play. For example, one of them I really wanted to get was NBA Jam, but there was no way to play that really on a 2-button system. So after I hooked the 3 buttons up, that was one of the first purchases I got, was the NBA Jam board, which I do have in here. I have that, and I said WrestleFest, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was gonna get Turtles in Time, but it's a little bit expensive, so maybe someday. But anyway, like I said, a few modifications, it's up and running. It plays pretty good. I mean, at some point I will probably need to replace the joysticks, because this one particularly is loose, but the buttons are all good, and I'm not going to complain for the price. And of course over here I have my little just 32-inch television set up right now. I've got Super Mario World running on it for Super Nintendo, and I do have a original Super Nintendo hooked up, as you can see here. And there, of course, is my Xbox 360, Wii games, etc. But I also have a Retron 3 back here that I can play Super Nintendo games on, but it tends to, I don't know, it doesn't play them as well, I don't think, personally. It does okay, and it's handy to have because it will just run, it runs 3 systems in one, unlike the, you know, Super, which obviously just runs Super Nintendo. And I also have a Yobo system, which is running my Nintendo right now. I have a Nintendo, a regular NES that I had since I was a kid, but I don't have it hooked up right now. It's just simpler to run off this. And then I have a Wii, an Xbox 360, and that's all I have hooked up in here. In my living room, I do have a Sega Saturn, a PlayStation 2, and I think that's it. Yeah, and then a PC hooked up in there as well. Anyway, in here, in this side is, which is hard to see, is my Super Nintendo, Sega games, example, Turtles in Time. And on the other side, also hard to see, is NES stuff. And back here I just have a couple of posters, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario Brothers, NES. Thought they would be kind of fitting behind the systems, as that is 2 of the games I play probably the most on the system. And let's see, over here we just have some various posters, Michael Jordan, Smallville. I have a few figures up here, WCW, and the big talking Hulk Hogan figure. Now I have a whole lot more figures than that, but I just put those up there to kind of fill the spot. And then of course I have the Flash TV show poster. Again, with the posters, that will be a theme. Up here is my collection of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures from the 1980s. Now these are not the original ones I had in the 80s. Unfortunately, I have misplaced those over the years, but I've purchased quite a few here and there over the last few years. I have a couple of Power Rangers 2017 movie posters, my 2 favorite Power Rangers, Jason and Kimberly. And the white things are the movie tickets sticking out of the many times that I went and saw that movie. Over here, we have a Hulk Hogan t-shirt that I had when I was a kid. That just randomly hanging there. Justice League poster. A couple of original DC figures. Aquaman. The Flash over here. A He-Man sword, which I bought at a Halloween store. Had no intentions of going as He-Man for Halloween, but I saw the sword and thought, heck, I have to have that. I do have quite a sizable Masters of the Universe collection, toy collection in another room. But anyway, back up here, I've got some old Frisbees I had when I was a kid. Ninja Turtles, Batman, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, various NASCAR cars that I like to collect. I don't collect them as much as some people. Some people get really crazy into that. I'm not that bad at it, but I do enjoy it, so I do have a few. And up there is just a random rub and play transfer little sticker set, Masters of the Universe. On the back of the door leading into the room, I do have a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 poster. Now these posters, I mean, they're $5 at Walmart. I mean, you know, so I can't pass them up. I don't care to tack them with thumbtacks, and, you know, like I said, $5. It's not really big a deal. And over here, let me step back a little bit. Over here is my various carded action figure on the wall. Get a wide scope of that. And you might note in the top right hand corner is the NBA Jam marquee, which I do have. I don't really have any room for it on the machine, obviously, so I just had to kind of stick it on the wall. Back to the figures. Most of these are Mattel. At the top here, releases of WWE action figures that I like, so purchase those. Let's see. And let's see what else we got here. Turn that arcade off because it's a little loud. So, and I have an original, I don't know what year that would be, probably 2000 or something, WWF Jack Stephanie McMahon. I just happened to find that actually. I forgot I even had it and just came across it and thought, heck, let's hang it up. And a couple more of the Mattel, a couple Ultimate Warrior figures. Now I have two Smallville figures here. Clark Kent, Lana Lang. I had those for quite some time. I bought those and gosh, I don't know, the show was still pretty new at the time, like 2003 or something. Excuse me. And then I have a Batman 1990 that came out from Kenner, I believe it was. And then see, a talking Incredible Hulk. I had one of those as a kid and I don't know, I don't have him anymore, so I happened to come across this at like a flea market and it wasn't very high. I thought, heck, I'll get it. So I have that. I have some of the newer Mattel WWF figures that are supposed to be like knockoff, I guess, or not really knockoff, but you know, newer versions of the old Hasbro figures. So I've got Lesnar, Kevin Owens, Ultimate Warrior there. And let's see, if you're going down here, we've got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the original series, all on the card here. Got all 6 Rangers there. And below that, well, actually over to the left here, I've got the new series. Excuse me, the Jason and Kimberly there. Then I've got the Power Rangers Zeo figures. I've got 4 of the 6 on the card. I still need the Gold Ranger, who's my favorite, but I don't have, and the Yellow Ranger. So. And then there is the Legacy, or Here, Then and Now sets, or whatever they're calling them, of Jason and Kimberly. And I do apologize, the lighting's not the best in here. I mean, I don't really set it up to, you know, I kind of want it dark in here, obviously, for the games, but. So over here we have more of the new Power Rangers. Have the other 3 there, hanging off the Hulk Hogan poster. Kind of the iconic Hulk Hogan poster pose there. And over here I have, let me get back, squeeze back here, a Wolverine figure. And then just a bunch of Hot Wheels and various cars, things like that I enjoy. The one good thing about Hot Wheels is they are fairly cheap, so if you like collecting them, that's usually not that big of a bang on your wallet, so that's always a plus. Anytime excuse me, anytime you're collecting, that's one thing you run into is it runs into money. So if you can find something that's not too expensive, it's probably the best way to go. Let me move on in here into the living room, and I'll show you in some other rooms and some of the other figures really quick. Okay, so here I have a, I don't know, I guess a kind of an old Chinese, or China cabinet, excuse me, not Chinese, call them China cabinets. And I have it kind of full of stuff that's not China. Maybe some of it made in China, but it's not China. So at the top here I have various Power Rangers action figures that are not on the card. Just everything from original series on up to some of the more modern stuff that I've collected, including the original Megazord back there and so on. And there's a Randy Savage on this side and a Hulk Hogan on that side. And as you go down, we have the WWF Jakks. I don't know what they were calling those. I think Classic, Jakks Classic figures. have quite the sizable collection of those. It's probably hard to make out everybody. Maybe someday I'll do a video kind of chronologically going through each one of them or something, but for now that's what you got. Pretty good collection of those. There was just a few we didn't get. Down here we have the original, once Jakks took over the WWF license, started making action figures. These are what came out of that. So I have those, and then at the bottom I have a few more of those, plus coupled with the WWF LJN action figures. And again, I do apologize, the lighting's not the best. So that, again, I might try to do a video detailing everything that's there at some point. And on top, I do have just some various knickknacks and such. Just stuff I couldn't really find a spot for anywhere else, and it kind of just ended up here. Okay, so here are a few more. Stuff to the left is just some Batman toys from, again, I believe it was like the 1990 Kenner stuff. And then speaking of Kenner, next to that I do have some Masks toys. Now all these are my original ones on the right hand side here. They're not in the greatest condition anymore, other than Thunderhawk, which I did purchase a couple years ago because I can't find mine. I have a couple of lunch boxes back there. Now they are full of G.I. Joe action figures that I just haven't found a room to display yet, but I do have quite a few of those. Then over to the right of that, I do have a collection of just various DC, Marvel, superhero figures from differing years and things and such like that. And that's above a collection of various comic books, magazines, WWF magazines from like 90 to, 97 or 8. Basically, they're all there. Over here, I do have a Ric Flair WCW version of the Wrestling Buddy, whatever that turned out to be. And a few more of the Jakks figures that I don't have room for in the China cabinet. And then over here, on this counter, we do have some of this, well, not some, this is pretty much my Master of the Universe collection. I do have most of the villains on this side. We, of course, have Prince Adam and Castle Grayskull. And over here we have the heroes. And try not to notice that my house is a mess. I didn't clean before I took this video, so that's what you get. And above that, we do have the WWF Hasbro action figures. Pretty sizable collection of those. Not missing very many, actually. And again, I do plan on maybe someday doing a full video on all these collections, just to kind of get my thoughts on them. And just tell some backstory on how I come to get them and things like that. This is just kind of a quick look at all this stuff I've accumulated video, and then we'll maybe down the road address some of the other things you might be curious about when it comes to this stuff. So I think that's just about it. I think now I'll, if you'll excuse me, I'll end the video here by going ahead and playing a little WrestleFest. So I hope you enjoyed this. It's my first time doing anything like this, so I do apologize if it's not the best quality, but I enjoyed it, kind of showing it off, and I'm getting my butt kicked. So I'll leave you with that. Thanks for watching, and again, maybe in the future we'll go into a little bit more detail with some of this stuff if you're interested. Have a great day.